Podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're listening to the voice of the people. Let's get ready for Boxing Voice.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
You need that fear.
All I'm trying to do is make a stand for something that I truly believe is right. I truly believe is right. I don't want to be like you. Come on, man. I'm the face of boxing. I'm the cash cow. I hold the record for pay-per-view.
My job, I know my job, I know my situation. I don't want to fight. That's my food. But it's going to be very difficult for both of us.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Boxing Voice Radio. This is another spontaneous episode, hashtag TBV podcast. I am your host, Nestor Gibbs, and we're back with some breaking news. As you know, the TBV team took to Florida and invaded the state itself, went from Miami to Clearwater, St. Petersburg, all around the map, getting boxing content, and we obviously stopped at the home of Keith one-time Thurman, and we had some discussions with him. Hot button topic in amongst the boxing fans obviously is the Keith Thurman and Errol Spence Jr. clash, unification, and then there is Max Kellerman's dark horse, Terence Crawford, a hardcore fans, I guess, favorite for sure, to say the least. So we're going to discuss this triangle of sins and exactly how Keith Thurman feels about it. He feels either, let's just say 2019 is what he's feeling. He ain't feeling 2018 when it comes to either Crawford or Errol Spence. And a lot of people have suggested that. So let's see if today's show opens up a few callers, and if not, a couple of comments on this particular subject. Let me head on out to the Golden State, to my co-host, the Hipster Hunter, so we can get this thing started, obviously get his take, and go back and forth, little tennis style.
Dollar-D Viancy production.
This is a beautiful performance against a very tough guy in Michael Johnson. How do you feel about it? Fuck that. Conor McGregor.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
You know me, Larry. From a wicked entrance, from a flip over the rope into a knockout. Now, when the main thing is, I just hope the guy, I wish.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
Yes, the hipsters here. Haters beware. And I know our good friend of the show, Keith Thurman's going to get some hate for this. He is. He's 100% going to get some hate. Definitely from the Errol Spence fans who are now becoming a huge fan base within boxing. Saying that this fight should marinate till 2019. And if we have to be consistent, and this show, has said Joshua should fight Wilder next year, marinating is overdone, etc., etc. We have said that on that show, so I'm going to continue to say that maybe this is not the right stance of Keith Thurman to say that he's not fighting Errol Spence Jr. or Terence Crawford till 2019, but that's the way it looks like. So I can't wait to chop it up. Obviously, we have the timestamp. We have some videos to, or audio, I should say, to, show you guys. Again, this is only a small little bit of 3 hours of content, which you can find on patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice to see the full interview in its entirety. So go check that out.
Yeah, man, it's probably your best bet, so that you can
get all the context and everything.
Yes, because I wouldn't necessarily say Keith is ducking or that Matt needs to be consistent, because I think this is a complete.
I'm not going to say ducking. I'm not going to say ducking, by the way. I'm not saying that.
I think this is a completely different scenario from the Anthony Joshua, Eddie Hearn scenario. I know that you are trying to make a correlation, or if not, at the very least, a comparison. So I don't know if you want to do that before the audio.
Yeah, I guess I will. I think that just to compare the two situations, Joshua, Wilder, Thurman, Spence. Both fights are unifications. We've had both cases of the quote-unquote A side, I would say, the more established name maybe in the division, saying, let's hold off, let's marinate the fight, and let's wait for it. And I think there is a correlation between the two. I think we see not that there is a chance that those guys lose. I think Anthony Joshua could be a favorite against Wilder, just like I think Thurman could be a favorite against Spence. But there is this sense of I'm in control. There's this sense of I'm the guy in the division, and they want to play the puppeteer. And I think that's similar in both cases, that Joshua and Thurman want to orchestrate this division and map it out and make the most business out of it. And I think in Thurman's mind, he's thinking, if I beat a Jesse Vargas, a Sean Porter next year, and then I fight Errol Spence, and Errol Spence beats let's say either obviously Lamont Peterson or a Jeff Horn next year, then it's a big fight. Then it could be a mega fight. So Thurman and I think Joshua, and obviously in his case, are thinking the same thing. Let's let this marinate. This doesn't need to happen right now. This is a big fight in a year, if not a big fight in 2 years, maybe.
Well, let's go to the audio. Audio courtesy of us, the Boxing Voice, hashtag TBV podcast. We're on the road. TBV's always working. This was with our time with Keith Thurman, and this is a small snippet from a 3-hour plus interview that we had with Keith.
We want to be that number one. We want that real history. We want to be remembered, right? You know, but it will be what it is once when we get these big fights activated, you know. I like it though. I say we're in marination right now. All you guys keep talking about it. You put some sugar, you put some spice into it. We in marination, you know what I mean? Because it's gonna be a nice event. It's gonna be real sweet when it happens. So we in marination.
Now, from the audio, he says it's gonna be real sweet when it happens. We're in marination. Now, Matt, I guess we have to tell the people why we feel that this particular fight won't take place until 2019. From the audio, obviously that can't be heard, but if you, head on over to patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice and consume that video in its entirety, you will definitely understand why, but we will give you the free gist, which is fighters of his caliber don't fight more than twice. And his words is he wishes that one time, all pun intended, he could have a 3-fight year to pay back to the fight fans for his inactivity. But due to a high-profile fighter such as himself, they only received 2 fights, Matt. So Errol Spence, Terence Crawford, they're just not in the cards for the calendar year that is 2018 when we're talking about Keith Thurman due to the severity of the elbow injury, which brings him back to March 3rd. Now, there is a slight possibility. There is a crack of sunshine in that, scenario, but I'll leave that till later. Playing a little tennis there, passing it to you.
Do you want me to reveal that little crack? Basically what he said is it's based off the injury. So on January 1st, he said that should be when he's rehab. That's when he's going to call Al Heyman after the new year. And they're going to see what's next for Keith Thurman. And he said, basically, if I'm feeling 110%, I fight Sean Porter right now and get that shit over with.
Yes.
And basically he said, once I beat Sean Porter, then I open up to these other big fights, quote unquote.
But he's also said, for all you internet trolls out there, all you Keith Thurman stalkers calling him runtime, sometimes he's never gotten a contract. He's never gotten a phone call about Errol Spence.
Actually, Ness, can you play the audio a little bit more?
Just let it roll from there?
Roll just a little bit more.
A little bit more.
Because it's about the title.
Big fight in your mind. It's not Crawford, right?
It doesn't.
It doesn't matter what it is.
Some sugar, you put some spice into it. We in marination.
I rewinded it back to marination. Put a little sugar, put a little spice. We're in marination. We're gonna roll it from here because I know where Matt wants to go with this.
You know what I mean? Because it's gonna be a nice event. It's gonna be real sweet when it happens. So we in marination.
And Earl's that big fight in your mind. It's not Crawford's, right?
It doesn't.
It doesn't matter
It
who it
doesn't
is.
matter.
It's that there's a big fight marinated.
It doesn't matter. They're both big fights. They're both big fights.
Let's stop it there though, because I'm interested in that. I'm interested, in the fact that, he says they're both big fights. We've asked other fighters in the welterweight division, why aren't they calling out Terence Crawford the way that everyone wanted a shot at Danny Garcia when he was moving from 140 up to 147?
We asked Keith that, by the way, in that 3-hour interview.
We sure did.
We did. He gave the answer that I think most of us have in our minds.
I don't think so. I think that from our interview, you can tell that he does not believe in Crawford.
Ooh,
I won't give out the exact word because then why would you go listen to it? But
I disagree with that. But I think I'll put it this way: what he said.
Disagree. Hold on. Let me just counter that. How could you disagree when? Remember, his exact words were like, "I don't believe Terence Crawford will blank the way that he did blank. Come on, you don't remember that? Like, that's totally not believing in him."
But do we also not remember the way he compared Danny to Crawford? Because remember, he said that Danny was beatable.
I
knew that he was beatable.
He listen. I'll tell you what he said. He said Crawford beats Danny, but that's it. So if that's not believing in him, I don't know what is. I mean, if that's not believing in him, I don't know what.
But you have to remember that Thurman's he's almost playing promoter at this point. He's almost his self.
I don't like that. I don't like that you keep trying to put him in this Eddie Hearn, Anthony Joshua role. What has he said?
So, let me finish. He's putting himself and Sean Porter in a category above everyone else, and I've noticed that.
Aren't they? Based off resume, are they not in the welterweight division? What other two welterweight hold better resumes than Sean Porter and Thurman? Come on, bro. This is easy.
Errol Spence. Easily.
Errol Spence doesn't have a Sean Porter resume. Knock it off. You're reaching.
Yes, he does. He beat the guy that beat Sean Porter.
Okay, and he also only has that one fight. Sean Porter rebuilt off that loss, plus was champion already. What are you talking about?
He built it with Andre Berto and a blown-up 140-pound Adrian Granados. Is that what he built it off of?
Did he just? Are those the only two fights he has since the Keith loss?
I think he had one other one.
Oh, didn't he have the Bonet maybe, or was that before?
No, that was Bonet. Yeah, he had Bonet.
I don't know. I'll double check. Because why not?
But again, I mean, those wins aren't anywhere near Kell Brook.
Dude, Kell Brook was damaged goods. You know it. I know it, man. The dude. I mean, look, whatever. You're an Errol Spence pom holder.
No, I'm just this is a rated.
By the way, you were right. It is Keith, Berto, then Granados. Okay. But yo, come on, man. After Gennady, like, who didn't think? I mean, I don't know. All right. No, listen.
Let me finish my point though about Keith. He's setting himself and Sean as this upper two guys in the division. Everyone else is below them, and that's smart promoting because it means that he's just trying to set up that rematch and make it big. And again, that all goes to if he doesn't take that Sean Porter fight next, this is all 2019. We're not talking about Keith Thurman, Errol Spence, Keith Thurman, Terence Crawford till next year, depending on this injury and depending on Sean Porter. Because if Sean Porter is that real deal where he's the number 2 guy in the division, then he may beat Keith Thurman in a rematch. And then we have a trilogy fight, and we may not get any of those guys fighting in Errol Spence Jr. or Terence Crawford till 2020. What are you looking at, Nestor?
I'm just smiling at BoxRec's algorithm.
Oh, they're hilarious, aren't they?
Yeah.
Hey, your boys over at BoxRec, man.
But it's funny, right? Jeff Horn was number 1 for like a second, and now Crawford is number 1.
How is Terence Crawford number 1?
Because it's a point system, and Crawford has had bigger fights than the other welterweights, right?
Whoa.
Except for Pacquiao.
Except for Thurman. I mean,
no. Listen. Bigger fights according to their algorithm and their point system, because they're on a point system.
But again, in their point system, how does Crawford have anything compared to Thurman, Porter, and Thurman Danny.
Past fights.
Again, you can throw in Crawford Gamboa. That's his best fight. That's what? That's
yeah, but that's what you, no. That's what you got to think about. Crawford Gamboa was how many years ago?
What, 3 years ago now?
Exactly. That means that he has 6 fights, right? Since then, or including that one on a 2-fight year schedule. And he's been fighting that level of fight. Like, it's been that magnitude, the Gamboas of the world in his division. So he's had a higher profile fight, longer career than Thurman. Thurman just got on the scene.
I mean, Thurman just got on the scene. When was Chavez? When was Diego Chavez?
Dog, Diego Chavez is in Gamboa. You see where I'm going with this?
I don't know, but Diego Chavez is definitely better than Delorme. Definitely better than John Molina Jr.
Possibly, but again,
come on.
But again, the big blockbuster was happening for Crawford early on, so he's been racking up points. It's a point system with BoxRec. We're wasting time with them, you know.
Trash.
Yeah, you know, it is what it is. They're very informative. Their ranking system isn't well, but they have one of the largest databases for, you know, professional fighters.
If you want to know who the top 100 guys in the division are, roughly, BoxRec is amazing for that.
I mean, if you just want to know anything, bro, you want to know where a guy fought, what way. I mean, who else has this information, to be honest with you? Like, people clown on BoxRec, but the minute they go away, we're going to be crying.
It's the Wikipedia of boxing in the law.
I know I would cry. Just like a lot of Errol Spence fans are going to cry next year.
Well, technically 2 years from now, because it's not 2018 yet.
No, it's next year because, come on. Are you honest? Are you serious? You think that people are going to listen to this show this week or this month or even this year and be like, yeah, the Boxing Voice is right? They didn't believe us 9 days ago with the David Hay, Tony Bellew. They're going to believe us now? They're going to have to learn.
No, Thurman's not fighting Spence up 2019. Come on, it's gonna be Jesse Vargas and Sean Porter.
Get it? That's my point. But they're going to be crying next year because next year is when they're going to be saying, "Oh, you need to fight him." Then he's going to have his tune-up. They're like, "Now you should fight him," and then he's going to be like, "I got to take my mandatory." And be like, "Oh."
And Wilder fans are going to feel like they're the same for a certain period.
No, I think Wilder fans will. I think Keith fans will probably turn into Wilder fans. They'll be like, "Damn, Keith, why you can't be like Wilder and just pay your mandatory step aside money and do the big unification?"
He talked about step aside money with not necessarily about Sean Porter, but I think he talked about it in general in that 3-hour interview.
With Jeff, it was about Australia.
Yeah, it was more about somebody else in the welterweight.
About Australia, so I don't know. Listen, let's get to the phone lines. Let's see what the world thinks, right? Because we were there. We have our impression. Maybe I should go back, or do you want me to let the audio play just a little bit more? Do you think that there's something there that the people need to hear?
I mean, we could play one more time if you want to go back to that timestamp and just play it back to, I think, like 8:12, I think is the final time we stop it. And just play it again just so they're
once we get these big fights activated, you know. I like it though. I say we're in marination right now. All you guys keep talking about it. You put some sugar, you put some spice into it. We in marination, you know what I mean? Because it's gonna be a nice event. It's gonna be real sweet when it happens. So we in marination.
And Errol's that big fight in your mind. It's not Crawford, right?
It doesn't
matter what it is. It's just that there's a big fight marinated.
It doesn't matter. They're both big fights. They're both big fights, you know? And you have to take it
even if Sean is a big fight. As
it's manifesting. You know what I'm saying? If Spence is to lose to Lamont, what happens? You know what I'm saying? If Crawford brings the title back home, what's the talk? Are they gonna show?
Uh-oh. Matt, I think we just let the cat out the bag there.
I mean, I guess if you want to hear the rest of it, you got to go to patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice and hear the rest of the 3-hour interview with Keith Thurman as he's doing rehab for that elbow. So definitely go give that a tune. Go give that a watch. Ness, did you drop something over there?
Yeah, no, I whatever. I plugged it up. But no, what I meant by him letting the cat out the bag, I think, is that listening to the audio over and over, I get the impression he's not necessarily marinating in the traditional Bob Arum sense. He's marinating, in Nestor's opinion, to wait for the biggest possible fight.
So he's waiting to see whether it's going to be a Spencer's the big fight, or a Crawford's the big fight, or Jeff Horn's the big fight. He's waiting to see which one's the money fight at the end of the year.
He's waiting to see who emerges because, again, if you go to the audio, if you go to the video on patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice to get this in its entirety, it is a 3+ hour interview with Keith. But there is a point in this interview, Matt, where he says, who knows? And I could easily play this on this show because I think it's coming up, where he says something like, who knows? Maybe 9 months from now, we'll be talking about me going to Australia. It all depends if that money's right. So, again, 9 months from November puts them in June, right? Something like that.
And remember, Keith also got a bump up in his guarantee.
Oh, shit. We can't talk about that, though.
We can't give out the number, but he got a jump. He got a little bump up in his guarantee.
Oh, and can you on air now say, Ness, I'm sorry. You're right about those monies and that Nevada bullshit. Every time we read money on Nevada, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, because you heard it from the horse's mouth.
You've sort of known that for a while, that the top guys.
Yeah, but on arguments on that on those financial discussions here, you'll be like, yeah, but Nevada has him for 1.2, and it's like, bro, he got more than that. He's like, oh, it's 1.2, and it's like, all right, whatever. I lose the argument based on technicality, but we all know these fighters are getting those fat checks behind closed doors because some got child support, some owe taxes, whatever the case may be. Like, there's gray areas in everything, brother.
It doesn't matter, according to Keith Thurman. As long as it hits that number, he's happy.
That's right. That's right. So again, what that means is if Al says, look, Keith, you're gonna get $3 million for the Thurman fight. Excuse me. Look, Keith, you're gonna get $3 million for the Errol Spence fight. His check might not say $3 million. So when me and Matt doing the show and Lil Dan Rayfield tweets out Nevada purses for Earl and Keith, Keith gets $2 million and Earl gets 1.5 or $2 million each. Don't believe the hype. We need to get that soundbite too from, what is that, Public Enemy? Or
yes.
Is it the Flav?
Oh, that's Public Enemy.
They're the same people, right? Just two separate guys. But yeah, let's go to the sponsors and let's hear from the public. I want to hear what could we call them? I mean, there's pack charts. There's what do they call we haven't heard Golovkin fanboys in so long because when he was looking good, they were like there. They even had a name. Now I forgot. What do they call them? Golovkin Knights? What are they?
I have no idea because
really?
I haven't heard them forever, man. They've stopped calling in since Jacobs.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's been a while.
All right, well, everyone, they got the Flomos out there, they got the pack tards, we got a bunch of stuff. So Earl has definitely picked up a internet sort of man, what could we call it? It's like fan base is too soft of a word. These guys are coming out full force for him. I mean, they're willing to lose blood over Earl in these arguments that they're having over Errol Spence and his accomplishments or what he is and isn't going to do. So I don't know. What?
Bad echo.
I hear you. What'd you say, buddy?
There's a bad echo. But I said that Errol Spence, zealots or the cult of Errol Spence,
Yeah. We got to keep that one on cap and see when we visit him, if we're allowed these days. What would he say? Does he notice the Errol Spence, I guess, fandom that's out there?
He has to notice.
Well, a lot of these guys don't check. Allegedly they don't. I don't watch this stuff. I don't read this stuff.
But then we have Deontay Wilder saying oh, yo, you guys smoke weed in every one of your shows. It's hilarious, man. I love that shit. You know, like we have like champions saying they watch it.
Wilder, that's Wilder. You talking about a real one. Shout out to Keith Thurman. We're using Keith Thurman words. I'm saying you're talking about a real one. Like those guys are real, so like they're gonna be like that. But
I think Earl could be a real one though, in that way, where he's attuned to what's happening in the industry and the culture.
I mean, I'm definitely gonna say Earl's a real one, but he definitely
like Crawford's aware. Like Crawford may not be saying everything, but he notices everything. Crawford is noticing everything that's going on.
Oh yeah, no. Crawford.
Oh God, Ness, come on.
Crawford definitely is listening and watching, and his trainer too. That's why all his Instagram posts are the way that they are, Matt. Like he's responding, like I hear y'all haters or y'all mad, and he's talking about the WBO making him, number one or whatever it is you want to give him, whatever ranking they just gave him that some people got upset about, and that's obvious because they didn't know much about the sport and the fact that you know
why I think Errol Spence is aware like Crawford is, because the Charlos are. The Charlos are aware of what's being said and what's happening around the sport. So I think Earl must be if he's around the Charlos.
Yeah, but what's exactly does that mean?
I mean, people that hang around together are usually similar in some ways. So I'm assuming if the Charlos are attuned to what's being said on podcasts and what's being said on forums or social media, that Spence must be.
Maybe I guess whenever something's spicy enough, they could relay the message to him. But I don't necessarily believe that just because one listens, the other listens because they hang out together. Because
good point.
Shit, I don't listen to the Young Turks, and you listen, and we hang out together. So
I listen to all the other boxing podcasts like you do. Like you listen to
exactly. I'm a junkie when it comes to that. So, all right. So we're gonna go ahead and head on out to the sponsors. And get these phone calls cracking. It's 1-425-569-5241. Press 1 time if you want to voice your opinion here on this subject. We're talking Keith Thurman, Errol Spence, Terence Crawford. Which is the bigger fight? 2018 will be the marination year. Boxing Voice is calling it right now after our time spent with Keith one-time Thurman. We do not believe either of these two fights will take place in 2018 unless we have a miraculously speedy recovery for Keith one-time Thurman.
Which I do.
Yes, which we don't expect. We're expecting a March return. So, really quick, sponsors.
These calls are brought to you by El Camino Electrical Services, experts in electric vehicle charging stations. For consultations and turnkey installation, visit us at elcaminoelectricalservices.com.
Going out to Atlanta, the home of the Milkman, baby.
I told y'all a long time ago, the Kirkland will go down 3 rounds.
Strap me up. Who's next? I got milk, baby.
Yeah. The Milkman is back. Listen, man, I don't think this fight is going to happen in 2018. I think Keith is marinating in a sense of, like you said, he's looking at the landscape holistically and seeing how it's going to shape up. It's a lot of big fights out there for him, man. I would argue he's probably in the best position, more so than anybody else in the welterweight division, to make a big fight. You have Jeff Horn that's out there. Manny Pacquiao is still lingering around. You also have the rematches with Sean Porter and Danny Garcia. And all of these guys can fight each other. So realistically, I don't think this fight is going to happen in 2018. I wouldn't be that sad if I didn't see it. Keith is going to need a tune-up anyway, plus maybe one more fight. So, we'll just have to see, man. Either way, the welterweight division is loaded, so we won't get any bad fights. I think the fight will happen eventually. That's it.
Milkman, thanks for calling in. Matt, you know what I'm seeing, and it kind of bothers me, man. I'm seeing guys call Keith a buster, a ducker, all these different names to a real one. A guy that's gotten in there with the likes of Sean Porter and then Danny Garcia back to back, where usually we see, I don't know, like the rumor now, Gennady and Canelo fought, but we're hearing Canelo might go Billy Joe instead of back to Gennady, right? Like, we don't see what Keith did. Why is he called so many names? Is it just the fickleness in us boxing fans?
Or just fandom in general, not just in boxing. This is in just culture overall, in entertainment, sports, everything. Fans have a short time span or memory span, and they just don't care. Like, people aren't invested in Thurman and Porter and Danny and Earl. They're more invested in being right and picking arguments and winning arguments. That's what people are really invested in. So they're gonna go with whatever is the consensus is. Right now, it's Earl's the baddest motherfucker in the game right now. That's what everyone's saying. So I'm gonna jump on that bandwagon because that's what I am. That's what those people are. And by the way, we have a ringer.
It's true, man. Every time the boxing fans peg a boogeyman, everyone is either running away from that boogeyman until they face him. But boxing history has taught us that every boogeyman gets beat.
Of course.
Or looks very bad.
Especially with that style of a boogeyman, like Earl, Triple G, like those guys that are come forward, aggressive style, those guys are beatable. They may be great. I'm not denying that, but they are 100% beatable.
I agree. So we're talking Boston. Is this ringer?
Of course.
Okay. No, because you don't have it written, so I didn't know.
Yo, first of all, let me say, I don't pay showtime to see you all there, not even putting a goddamn motherfucking effort. If I want to see two motherfuckers just fight, I pick up a fight with somebody in the street. Don't need that shit. You don't love that sport, my dude? Just move along. Gone. Fuck you. Next. What a great show. Thumbs up, donate.
Yo.
How long you guys gonna be? Marinating against me? Can be marinating forever, baby. Coming for you.
It's a clown ass out here.
You're no ponytail ass out of here.
How the fuck they got?
Computer gangsta
What's up with that fake laugh? Stop it. Listen.
Black ass motherfucker. Come on.
They got Terence Crawford #1.
That ain't the subject of the show, B. Get your life right.
He doesn't say that Crawford on the title.
They don't say is he #1.
Yeah, but that's what people saying on the chat. On your chat,
but that's why we
talk is all about.
That's why we ignore the chat. Ain't that where you hang?
Oh.
So you know, in your own viewers, right on, Mr. Gibbs. Anyways, Terence Crawford to be put #1 got to be based on eye test only. But the competition that he got, he really don't count. Not really. Thurman, I hope he get better. Only 1 tune-up fight around fucking, I don't know, maybe March, and in the summer we get the big fight with Spence. Because that's what people really want to see. Don't have much to say. Everybody out there, support, donate, thumbs up.
Georgie.
What?
Will you or will you not? Will you or will you not be mad if Thurman fights? If Thurman does not fight Crawford or Errol Spence all of next year?
I won't be mad about Terence Crawford because we know what side of the pond he's at. He's with the other mafia. So therefore, for these motherfuckers to make this fight, oh my God, that's an uphill battle. So that shit ain't happen. He not fighting Spence in the other hand. I will be mad. Because what the fuck, bro? Everybody got Spence as the #1, 147 in the world. Everybody. Doesn't matter who the fuck you ask. Thurman can have the title, but if still he doesn't face Spence, he don't got the public. And I'm a Thurman fan.
Yeah, but wait a minute. So you think that's fair? You think that because based off Errol Spence beating Brook, does that make him #1 in your eyes in this division?
No, eye test. It's just like Crawford. Crawford really haven't beat nobody out there, and everybody got him like top fucking number one.
But I'm not asking about everybody. I want to talk to you. Do you think that Errol Spence is number one after he beat? I was about to say Gennady Golovkin. After he beat Kell Brook.
Nah, not based on that. I base it on the eye test.
So you
like
saying
everybody else? There's nothing else to base it on.
Okay, so you saying you giving him number one based off the eye test?
That's pretty much.
All right. No. I just wanted to.
How could you have?
No. Listen, I'm not mad at you. B, relax. And the bell rung anyway, so you get.
Know that. Come
I
on.
know he can't relax. He needs some weed. Listen,
it's okay.
At least we got down to it, right? And what we got into is how he actually feels, and he's basing it off eye tests. Hey, Beb, he's basing it off eye tests, and yeah, I guess that's okay. But it's kind of the easy way that these fight fans are taking. And I think it's like what you said. It's more argumentally charged. It's like, oh, I could just say Earl's number one and get a rise out of everybody.
Of course.
It's not really that Earl's number one, because to base someone at number one truly just off eye test, can it be done, Matt? That's my final question. I know I rambled on, but is it fair to do that?
Fair is a very loose term that I think doesn't exist really. So I'm sure or no, it's not fair, because I think resume means more than eye test, but rejudge off eye test all the time. There's a reason people have been saying Errol Spence has been the truth since he beat Chris Algieri. There's a reason why people thought that. There's a reason why people think Terence Crawford can clean out welterweight. It's because of the eye test. There's a reason why people
let's be fair, man. I know a lot of people didn't, but I always rated Algieri high. I never thought Provodnikov won. I was of the other side of the world.
I thought Chris Algieri outboxed him.
And I believe my crazy ass even picked Algieri to beat Pacquiao simply because I never thought Pacquiao was good.
You did.
Keeping it G, like when I seen him fight Bradley, that first fight, I was one of the ones that thought Bradley beat him. Even in the second fight, he was winning the first couple of rounds until Bradley tried to take this machismo route and bang it out. So I always thought he was subjectable to that right hand, which Algieri threw very straight. But Algieri ended up not having a good enough chin when it came to Pacquiao. But I think it wasn't the chin, it was the speed that obviously at that time it was a more prime version of Pacquiao. Algieri just couldn't keep up with the speed. If you can't see the punches, you can't expect them and prepare for them. And that's what happened. So I never devalued Chris Algieri. Then he did such a wonderful job in the Khan fight. And I'm like, nah, this guy has metal. This guy has metal. So when disrespectful at Ness. So when I seen Earl go through him like a hot butter knife through butter, I said, damn.
That means something. And very quickly about Thurman and the hate that he gets right now. There is also a section of the fan base, I don't know how big it is, that thinks he lost his last two fights.
Who's that?
I mean, even somebody that Thurman lost his last two fights. So he lost the Porter fight and he lost the Danny fight. There are people that think that. I know that's wild.
What?
Or there's at least somebody. There's a larger.
You're hiding. You're trolling, and not in the typical sense. I mean, trolling like strolling, like hanging out in some dark forums to have heard that Keith lost both fights. Is it?
I hear this shit. I'm just saying what I hear, not what I believe. This is not what I believe.
But wait, was it like the same person that said, "Oh, he lost"?
No, I think it's Bruce. I think Bruce is one of those people too.
Oh, but Bruce is a Danny Garcia fan, so he's seen.
Hey, let's do this way. That's all you need. You need a Danny Garcia fan that also thought Sean Porter beat Keith Thurman, or you have a larger percentage that think he lost one of those fights. That's a larger percentage. That there's a percentage of the fan base that thinks Thurman lost one of his last two fights. So then you have this idea of him not being
That's crazy.
Incredible. Like that starts to devalue or
Let me ask you one quick question to make it spicy here.
Yeah, okay.
There's a large percentage that think he lost those 2 fights. And let's do this quick. We got a couple of callers. Large percentage think he lost those 2 fights. Can you compare either of those 2, and I'm using air quotes, possibly lost fights to any Mayweather tight fight? Because and the only reason I say I'm thinking legacy wise, right? Like when we all sit back and read Keith Thurman's history 10 years from now,
Nestor,
will this go down as Castillo or Maidana, or is it neither? Did he beat him clearly enough that it's neither of those tight fights that demanded or deserved rematches?
Funny, I didn't think about Mayweather when I had this thought, and I had it before the show, actually. I was thinking of Triple G. I was thinking of the way that even people that didn't necessarily think that Triple G was the monster, maybe like you did, like you didn't think he was the monster, but you definitely thought he was the best middleweight. And then he pushed in that fight with Jacobs. And then he pushed in that fight with Canelo. And then you start thinking, well, is Triple G really all that? Like, is he that destroyer that we all thought he was? I think Thurman has that same situation right now a little bit, where he's had 2 tight fights, and I know they're against 2 top 5 welterweights, but still they're tight fights where people think he may have lost. That starts to decredit who he is in his championship reign, potentially. And for some fans, a percentage of the fans, not a large, not half, not the majority, but a percentage, does think that Thurman is not a true champion because he has lost 1 or 2 of his last 2 fights.
Well, let's head out to the home state of Errol Spence Jr.
JD, motherfucker.
There's a lot of things I like to do, so just try to get on my game on boxing. I don't know why they gonna call me, but I'm a 54 pounder. But I have a brother that's at 160.
Did you go to him?
What up?
What up, JD?
Chilling, man. Real quick before I get started, let me just give a shout out to my boy Danny Jacobs. I haven't called since he won. But getting to Keith Thurman, man, this is the thing right here. A lot of people, man, a lot of Errol Spence fans, all it is they just impatient right now. I mean, because getting to what one of y'all said, I mean, it's a level of disrespect that, like this. I mean, I literally said this before. Like, the dude got booed in his last 2 fights. You know what I'm saying? Like, after the Porter fight, he got booed. He got booed during the Garcia fight. And then, I mean, if you take a step back and look at it, he fought 2 of the top welterweights. And you got Errol Spence fans out here acting like this dude ain't did jack shit. How crazy is that, man? But in all seriousness, with Errol Spence fans, I just think they need to calm down. Let him do his work. He about to fight Peterson, which I think he about to get a little trouble in that Peterson fight. And people might start changing their tone. That's how I feel about, Errol Spence and that fight. But with that being said, I do think he is top 3 welterweights. But I just think people it's like the Triple G fans was at one point, just over the top. And then, when he fought Daniel Jacobs, everybody just calmed the fuck down. And I think it's going to happen with Spence. Because, I mean, to be honest, man, he was getting touched up in Kell Brooks' fight. Until the dude face turned into pudding.
So,
but
do you, let me ask you, do you consider it marinating, ducking, or is Keith Thurman doing the right thing by sitting back and allowing Errol and Crawford to create his, I guess, B-side or super fighter? I don't know. What do you call it? Not to be disrespectful.
Yeah,
neither one would be a B-side, really, right? Shit.
Super fight.
See, the thing is this. He actually said this too. He said that in a perfect world, Earl or Crawford will go get that belt from Horn. That way he can have 2 belts, and then we come together and unify. I think that was major, and I think that really should happen.
All right, JD. Shout out to JD giving you guys a little gem right there, because he is a patron and he did watch the full interview. So he gave you a little more than what we did by letting you know that that Keith does kind of get in his Eddie Hearn, as Matt would like. And you know, kind of say, hey, Wilder, fight Dillian White. Hey, Crawford, fight Earl after you get that WBO belt, and let me shut Max Kellerman's motherfucking mouth. That's what he really said. But you know, he was a little nicer. That's all. But that's what he meant. You know, that's what he meant, because that's all he kept talking about is how they talking about Crawford and they don't like to talk about him. So he really
all
wants
I'm gonna say is very quickly. All I'm gonna say is that he definitely had a little mini rant about Max Kellerman. Definitely go listen to that.
Definitely. We're gonna go to DC. Marcus, what's up, brother?
Hey, yo, check this out, man. Look here. Look, I think Keith Thurman catching a lot of flack because when Paulie was the WBA champ and Keith called him out, he said, yo, this is prize fighting. So now dudes is returning the favor. It doesn't seem like he's being obligatory to the people who's doing this. He told Earl he ain't have enough shit. Earl got the IBF title, now he's saying it. So yeah, I think Keith can get a tune-up, but to let the fight go past 2018, seeing that it's still 2017, is beyond ducking, man. You know what I'm saying? Keep a good person, but if he want to turn out and make interviews and say, I want to have a legacy and all this other stuff, legacy say fight the young boy. I agree with JD in one sense when they say Errol Spence ain't gonna have no walk in the park with Lamar Peterson. That's for damn sure. But if his bully game in the ring is perfected, we'll find out against Lamar. If it's not, then he got to get back to boxing again a little bit, because then anybody can see then, all right, man, you know what I'm saying, you could be a matador and fool all that. The fact of the matter is this. I don't know if Danny beat Keith. Sean Porter, I think it's disputable. If he want to fight Sean Porter, he don't have to fight in the first fight. But what Keith Thurman definitely has to do is this. Shut his mouth and make a fight. Make a fight that the public wants to see. Make a fight that he thinks he can beat. Because remember this, nobody says marinate unless they don't think they can beat the opponent. Because anytime a nigga think that they can beat you, that you know can't beat you, you never talk about marinate. You be like, we can fight right now. The only time you ever talking about fight somebody down the road is when you think they pose a threat to you. Earl poses a threat to Keith. Danny was inactive, and some people think Danny fought him. Beat him. You know what I'm saying? And Danny wasn't really active. Keith Thurman, Sean Porter was very active in the fight, and I think it goes 50-50 who you think won, whether it was Sean Porter or Keith Thurman. I think people believe that Errol Spence is the pressure of Sean Porter with more of a technical ability to beat Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman skated out those 2 fights. You know what I'm saying? And I think all the rhetoric and conversation that he having in the public is more than what the public gets set, because he's supposed to be one time. He's supposed to be stopping these dudes. He comparing himself to Leonard and Hearns. Well, you know what I'm saying? Leonard and Hearns saw people in their division and got rid of them. They ain't postponed. They ain't marinate. When Hearns and Leonard fought, they was in their 20s. So Keith Thurman, you control the welterweight division.
So was Sean
fight.
Porter and Danny. What are you talking about? He was in his 20s with them.
When the fuck, hey Ness, when the fuck did you ever think Sean Porter was running the 147? Stop it, man. When did the fuck you thought Danny Garcia was running 147?
But before
he came up from 40.
Yo, stop it, man. Stop it.
47.
before Sean Porter lost to Kell Brook, we damn sure wasn't calling Kell Brook no fucking run in the division. But as soon as he beat Porter, everybody thought he was the man.
Kell Brook was. Nobody knew who the fuck.
Man, we all knew who Kell Brook was. Stop it.
He was a champion.
Anyway, you went through your 3 minutes. You went through your 3 minutes. Listen, Matt, you're gonna tell me that it ain't go down like that. You're gonna tell me that when Porter was the IBF champ and Kell Brook came over here to fight him on Showtime, right? Yes, the UK public, some of them, guys like, Stuart Little would call in saying Brook was gonna win. But no one was calling Brook the best welterweight in the division until he did what he did to Porter.
Yes.
Then it was all of a sudden, oh, he's the number one. And I'm like, how the fuck is he number one when Keith is right here? I was always arguing that. So now you're going to sit here and tell, you know what?
And very quickly, I just want to say this, Marcus, about fighting in your 20s. I mean, we've seen tons of super
But they're all in their 20s. What is he talking about? None of them are 30.
And
they're all 20.
Even if this fight happens in 2018,
still in the 20s.
In their 20s, I believe. I know Keith Thurman is 28. I don't know how it's going to work out for his birthday when his birthday is, but
they're going to be in the 20s,
29 or 30, and I don't think that's such a big deal about the age.
I'm just ticked because Marcus is like so knowledgeable. The dude got an award, and for him to use the word duck, you got an elbow injury. No, he used the word duck.
No, but maybe he's a Spence fan.
It wouldn't matter.
That does matter. If you're
then you're showing your bias. You're showing your true colors by using that word. Even if you're a Spence fan, you're just showing that you're biased. You could be a fan and be unbiased. If a man got an injury, right?
The one difference from AJ Wilder, and
we always give him a tune-up. We always give him a tune-up.
But people don't think Thurman's really injured, which is the weirdest thing. Like there's this conspiracy theory that he's never been injured. The car accident was, even Ken Porter comes on and says, oh, he wasn't really in a car accident. And it's like, people believe that. And it's like, come on.
I posted on our Instagram, shout out to Ken Porter, all of Sean's x-rays and MRI stuff is all on the Instagram. He sent it to me like he said he would. So at the Boxing Voice, it's there proving that Sean really does have a fractured hand and there is no fake injury, #fake news. Look, I don't know. You want to get to some callers? We got the whole Errol Spence state calling in.
Yeah, we got Texas coming in like heavy.
K-Dub, Ken in Texas. Talk to us.
Come for us.
Yo, what's up? This 503 line. What's up?
What up?
What's up, man? I'm not gonna come on here, bro, and just talk crazy to y'all like you probably think dudes from Texas gonna do. I'm gonna just say this, man. Shout out to y'all. Y'all always dropping gems, giving us these dope interviews when nobody else is talking about it. Y'all talking about it. And, I'm gonna give Keith Thurman the benefit of the doubt on this one, man. You right, Ness. He deserves get a tune-up, and after this tune-up, he gonna be in the hot seat. Whether he gonna fight Porter or Danny. Man, we're gonna be watching, bro, and it's only gonna be a matter of time. You dig? The oven is finna get turned up, and I know you dudes gotta be politically correct, you know what I'm saying? Because y'all work with these guys and y'all getting these interviews and y'all working and y'all don't want to mess y'all relationships up. So I'm not gonna bash y'all for that, man, because y'all working and appreciate it. And but we watching, you know what I'm saying? And it's only a matter of time, man.
K-Dub, I have a question. Do you think Sean Porter rematch is high level enough that Spence fans will be okay with that?
Yeah, man. I mean, Porter fight is cool. It's okay, but after that, bro, you have to start fighting some of these young lions, man. You have to give us Errol Spence or Terence Crawford, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool with the Porter fight because it was a close fight. You know what I'm saying? But gotta give us Spence and Crawford, man. You gotta give us that.
Well, all right, K-Dub. Matt.
Remember, Porter is the mandatory, technically.
Yeah, man. Listen, if you guys still want the Crawford or the Spence fight to be big, especially the Spence fight, Keith has to face Sean. It has. Listen, I'm going to tell you how it's going down because I love you guys almost more than a fat kid loves cake. Because that's a lie. I'm lying. I'm really lying. But
And you really
what I'm
don't.
telling the truth about is it's going to be Jesse. Jesse's getting the Aaron Herrera tune-up. Then Jesse's going to get in there with Keith because Keith is that type of dude. Keith is that type of gangster where he's going to show you Errol Spence fans like, yo, my tune-ups is your guys's, big fights.
Well, I very quickly, I mean, there's an argument that Lamont Peterson's a tougher tune-up than Jesse Vargas.
No, that's some balls to the wall shit too. I mean, but this is the problem. We're having a show questioning two guys that continuously show us their balls are bigger than ours.
Like, think about it. Jesse Vargas is still top 10.
Exactly. Top 10. Exactly, but their fans are driving this divide, is what they're doing. They're like, no, Keith fought Danny and Sean, but he's ducking Earl. Like, how is that possible? How? I just don't get it. But all right, we're gonna go to more callers. We got a bunch. Let's see who we got. We're going to my boy J Will in Ohio.
If you know like I know, you should lie low. Killer, I used to get it in Ohio.
What's up, fellas, man? Good show, man. Good spur of the moment show, man. My boy Ness, man. I know you just called me your boy, man, but we might have to go this whole 3 minutes, me and you, knock them out. Let's go. But let's do it. I can tell when, some people just try to deflect and to try to protect their fighter. It's an unfortunate thing, man. Y'all going to Errol Spence fans, and I think you know that I've been saying Errol Spence could beat Keith Thurman when he fought Del Greco. So this ain't nothing new for me. But it's like y'all ain't gotta be so defensive when somebody say, Spence is the best fighter in the division. It's not discount what Keith Thurman's done. That's not what that's doing. It's just saying that's Errol Spence is just the best. Now Keith Thurman has the better resume thus far.
But Earl is the best.
That. And I don't think Keith Thurman.
Wait. Let me just ask you a question. He's the best in your opinion based off what? Because it needs to be based off something.
Based off if they get in the ring, I will put money on the line that Errol Spence is going to come out the victor.
Translation assumption.
It's based on. So let me ask you something. So who's the number one heavyweight?
I mean, it's just the eye test, right? Like, that's basically what you're saying. It's okay to say that.
Yeah, let me ask next. Who's your number one heavyweight?
Get him, J Will. Get him, J Will. Get him.
Talking about the welterweight division.
Who's your number one heavyweight?
We're talking about the welterweight division.
Yo, he's coming for you, Ness. You
don't want to go around the afternoon. You don't want to do that.
Why don't I?
Don't pull Hillary Clinton. Don't deflect. Come on.
Why don't I?
Answer the question.
It has nothing to do with the subject. So if you choose to make up an analogy in your opening defense argument, that's up to you. But to ask me to play a game with you to help your argument is ridiculous. Now, again, if you want to make an analogy using the welterweight division, comparing it to the heavyweight division, be my guest. But to ask me to do it for you, that's just insane.
Well, obviously, you got caught up there. You don't want to answer, and that's cool. The listeners know what happened. At the end of the day, it's all about the eye test. If you've been watching boxing for as long as I guess we all can assume that me and you both have, there's a knowledge base that comes along with being a hardcore versus a casual. So with that knowledge base, I'm gonna go with Errol being hands down number one. And until I see Keith Thurman run through a Kell Brook type of fighter and stop him.
I was waiting for that. He fell in the loophole, a Kell Brook type of fighter. So again, we go back to the same thing that I said, Matt. Before Porter lost to Kell Brook, no one was saying Kell Brook was the number one welterweight in the division or the man to beat. So now all of a sudden he beats Porter and he's the number one welterweight. But then Keith beats Porter and he's the number two welterweight.
What did he do to Chris Algieri?
Paulie Malignaggi 2.0. Keep trying, J. Will. Come on.
Come on. Are you serious?
No, I'm dead serious. No. I'm not serious. I'm dead serious. You can't go resume. You can't go that route. Errol Spence fans have to say eye test. You can't go resume.
So what do you do with Deontay? Okay.
We're going to make a fucking freestyle off of that one. Let's get a beat off of that one right there. We got to throw some little Young Jeezy ad-libs on that one.
Y'all know, everyone that's listening, you got him, J. Will. When you said heavyweight division, we all know.
What do you know?
Exactly.
Yo, listen.
Why you picked Wilder?
Who said this line?
Come on.
Who said this line? I'm a slick enough cat to spit your line right back at you, right?
No, let me clarify J. Will's point. Because you know me.
The same reason.
Hold on, J. Will. Let me. Wilder, you pick Wilder to beat Joshua off of eye test, even though Joshua has the better resume. You pick Keith Thurman to beat Errol Spence off of resume instead of eye test.
I'm not picking Keith to beat anyone. I never said Keith beats anyone. What I'm saying is you can't not rank Earl above Keith. Keith is the #1 welterweight.
You rank Wilder above Joshua.
No, I don't.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Oh, there you go. You're being consistent.
Okay, hold on. Because if that's the angle you want to go, when have I said that Deontay Wilder is the #1 heavyweight?
You've always said he beats him, so that implies that you think.
Oh, no, that he beats him.
If you think he beats him, that implies that you think he is the best heavyweight.
You're reaching. You should have let Jay Will use his analogy. You're ruining his analogy. Jay Will, you want to clean this up for him?
I got you. What are you talking about?
He's ruining your analogy, Jay Will.
Just make this a little bit. At the end of the day, man, the same reason why I said I'm going to pick Errol Spence is the same reason why you said you're going to pick Deontay. It's based off an eye test. Period, point blank, nothing more, nothing less.
I wish it was that simple though, Jay Will. I wish it was that simple, but you see, I gave you hella time. You really did a rope-a-dope, but you still got knocked out. I'm just saying, and if you don't believe that, fuck it. The judges is on my side.
Well, all the judges are saying you lost. What are you talking about, Ness? What judges?
How is it that the judges?
Come on, the chat is the judges. They're all saying you lost.
Yo, dude, how could I lose? He didn't even say anything. He said Earl's #1 welterweight because he beat Sean. Come on.
No, he's saying clarify. He clarified his point, just like you did. No. Hold on, because you both had to clarify your points. It up so you both were right at the end.
Call him Reach Master Matt.
Gabriel changed up his argument, and so did you.
How?
Argument too. I'm just saying they're going to beat. That doesn't mean I rank him above him, which makes no logical sense, by the way. If you think that Errol Spence would beat Keith Thurman, you must think that Errol Spence is the best welterweight. If you think Deontay Wilder beats Joshua, you must think that Wilder is the best heavyweight.
You must. I'm pretty sure we're not supposed to use words like must, should. Those, I don't know. I don't know what that means.
It says we can't use those words.
But look, it is what it is, bro. Everybody has their own, I guess, ranking system, measuring stick, whatever it is that they use. I just try to be realistic. Like if one guy has done more in that division, he's fought more top 10 guys. It's like the Triple G, right? When there was plenty of Triple G detractors, I could never get on that bandwagon because even though they were saying Triple G's fighting bums, I never said, yo, Triple G's a bum. And I never said those guys were bums because I ranked guys like Gil, and others that he's fought, Macklin, Murray. People wouldn't give him the absolute most credit for those, but I did because I've seen Murray fight Felix Sturm and Gabe Rosado and others, tons of others, right? I've interviewed him a bunch of times, a lot, and same for Macklin, same for Gil, same for Sergio Martinez, and so on and so forth, So I just it's difficult for me You know, I just don't understand why is it difficult for everyone else, because with Triple G, it seemed to be so easy for the masses to say, hey, he's the #1 middleweight in the world because he's consistently defeat more top 10 middleweights than anyone else. Well, and here we have a welterweight doing the same thing, and he can't get the credit. It's just sad. But I'm sure 2019 is when he will get it, because all those pieces are going to fall. It's like JD said and a couple of other callers said, some are coming on this show and they're like, yo, the Lamont Peterson fight isn't as easy as people think, as if to say, keep your eye on this fight. We're going to see something, you know. Are we going to see a different level of Earl, or are we going to see Lamont peel back a layer that we haven't seen, and it becomes a vulnerability, the way that Luis Collazo hit Keith Thurman to the body, and all of a sudden everyone thought Keith couldn't take it to the body, yet he didn't go down. I don't know. Or similar to Khan being punched in the chin and then people saying he doesn't have a chin, right? I don't know. We'll see, man. Let's get to some other calls. We got 510. I wonder who's this. I wonder, is that not, what's this guy's name from Cali?
McDonald?
Yeah, it's not Donald. 510, you're up.
Nah, this is first-time caller.
First-time caller, my friend. We haven't played the first-time caller intro in a long time, so we're going to go ahead and dust that off, play it for you. Once you hear that, just let the world know your name, where you're calling from, and then getting right into your call.
Ladies and gentlemen, making his professional debut.
Saucy boy.
Saucy boy, where you calling from?
I'm calling from Oakland, California.
Oakland, California. What up? The Bay in the house. Talk to us, baby.
Yeah, quick clarifying question. During the time that Sean Porter and Kell Brook fought, wasn't Mayweather still active?
Porter, I don't know. Just to move on, let's say yes.
So, I mean, none of them were the man at the time if Mayweather was still active. I mean, if anything, you got to put Keith Thurman at #2 at that time, or Kell Brook, either one, when they fought, and Mayweather #1. But that's besides the point. Just, I've been hearing people trying to call.
I don't even see how Kell Brook could be ranked #1 based off of one Sean Porter win. I hear people say that, and I'm like, how? Even when they used to say it before Earl beat him. You know, like the Kell Brook fans, even before he fought Gennady, like when he just beat Sean and then went on the, I don't want to say bum of the month tour because that's unfair to guys like Bizier and Jojo Dan, who probably can beat me up. But, you know, let's be serious. How has he ever been #1 based off one win?
No, I feel you. But to answer the question of the actual topic, here's my thing with Keith Thurman. I think that, and you could even see it when he was on Showtime, he seemed a little bit hesitant when talking about the Errol Spence fight. And when he wasn't champion, he was calling out guys left and right. And for the most part, he was getting what he wanted. And now that Errol Spence gets an actual credible win, to all the people out there that call Errol Spence a bum, he has an actual credible win now in Kell Brook. So I'm just like, let the fight happen in 2018. I mean, I wouldn't be the most mad if it happened in 2019, but I want to see the fight happen in 2018 because, I mean, it's a good fight, and I'm sure you guys want that as well. I don't think he's ducking. I don't think he's necessarily ducking, but he seems just a little timid when it comes to that. And in terms of Terence Crawford, I mean, look, Terence Crawford's going to get the Jeff Horn fight. Bob Crum's going to make that happen. He's going to get that WBO belt because, I mean, I think Jeff Horn's a C+ level, B- welterweight. Terence Crawford, I think he beats him. And to all the callers who are calling Terence Crawford, I'm not calling him a bum, but saying he hasn't fought anyone. Come on now. He has a deep resume at 140. He beat Victor Postal. He beat Julius Ndongo, which some people might discredit that, but I mean, Julius Ndongo is still a really good fighter. And he beat Felix Diaz, and I don't see anyone lining up to fight Felix Diaz. No one. there's not a lot of people that want to fight Felix
I
Diaz.
don't even see
So,
Felix Diaz
for the
lining up to get a fight.
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying. I want to see the fight. I want to see the fights happen in 2018. One of them, Terence Crawford. I think he's going to be pushed to the back. I think the Errol Spence fight happens before. But I mean, thank you guys for letting me through. I'll try to definitely call more. Thank you guys.
All right, brother. Yeah, man, that Crawford fight, it'll be interesting to see. When we spoke to Crawford, I bumped into Crawford in the airport in Omaha, and he said that his team said they're definitely pushing for those fights. And you know, when I spoke to Bob, another interview you could check out on Patreon, you know, he definitely said that Crawford's going to fight the Garcias and the Thurmans of the world. And he said, obviously, throughout all media, he feels that Errol and Crawford is the big pay-per-view fight. So I think that's another reason why we get this version of a Keith Thurman, Matt. I mean, it's more like, you know, he feels slighted, like not appreciated, kind of like Wilder maybe, no? Because, you know, it's like when he got into that Max Kellerman bit, he felt hurt or sounded hurt or at least bruised ego.
I mean, there is a chip on their shoulder. I think that is a similar thing. There's a chip on the shoulder. We see that with a lot of top guys right now, that there is this feeling of not getting the respect they feel they deserve or have earned. Wilder's one of them, the Charlos, Thurman, Crawford. You know, there's a bunch of guys like that.
All right, let's get on down the line. We're going to what looks like the city of brotherly love, 267-455 Philadelphia. First-time caller?
Yeah, first-time caller.
I'm going to go ahead and play this intro, first-time caller intro. Let the world know your name and where you're calling from.
Ladies and gentlemen, making his professional debut.
Eric from South Philly. Listen, Spence is the top guy. The top guy. My IQ is good. Most of my friends is pro fighters. As far as him and Keith, he beats Keith. Ain't nobody signing up to fight Earl. He was calling them out since, you know, Mayweather had the titles. As far as cutting the ring off and making these guys fight in spots where over the course of 8-9 rounds, you forget that this guy is still constantly cutting the ring off and making you fight in spots. That's where most of these guys go wrong at, because he can pop. He can pop. The only thing that I hope, right, I hope that the Thurman and Spence fight happened before Spence and Crawford, because that would be a big pay-per-view fight. But before I go, I mean, y'all can rebuttal, but before I go, I watched this video on YouTube earlier of Floyd, you know, working out, you know, with Joshua Anthony Joshua in the gym. And if he come back, he gonna come back and fight somebody. He gotta be a fighter, and it ain't gonna be nobody without no title. So who would you think that he would actually fight? Because Spence is mad. That's not gonna happen.
I mean, if you want me to play that game, I'm gonna be honest and tell you it won't be a welterweight.
It won't. Well, I mean, I don't see it being a Charlo, and I don't see him going up to 60, even though he had a layoff to the point where he probably could have been over here 100% per athlete. He might have had enough time to actually build the weight up if he wanted to try a Triple G, but I don't really see that happening either. So, I mean, besides a Canelo or something like that, who could he possibly fight where it will build good revenue? I mean, you know, it gotta be a name, man, and where people will want to see it again. You know, I ain't so sure everybody will want to see Canelo and Mayweather again. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, I think people,
you know,
will
when it
sign
comes
up
to
for
the
that.
craft,
I think people will
listen,
sign
I'm
up.
gonna tell you something, right? I'm gonna tell you something about Mayweather, right? And I'm gonna tell you the difference. And me and my homies talk about this all the time. You know, my best friend is Maurice Baum. Y'all can look him up. He heavyweight. Me and him talk all the time, right? And the thing that Mayweather has that most of these fighters don't have is angles and distance and some other the art of boxing that was teaching ain't taught as much no more. Even in the amateur rankings, it's just, you know, get off as many as you can get off in these 2 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Once you get to the pros, you know, unless you make it an elite amateur where you spawn a lot of pros where things slow up for you, you know, where everything is more calculated, a lot of these guys is losing the art of it. They either flat-footed walking to you or, you know, they dance around the ring thinking they Mayweather but don't know the shell defense. I mean, we talk about the art of it all the time, but that's why I still think Mayweather would come back and he could clean it out. You know what I'm saying? He could clean it out again. And I don't really think, you know, I hear a lot of people say, you know, if he came back, he had problems with this fighter. He had problems with that fighter. I don't see it. I don't see it right now. You know what I mean? Terence Crawford, pound for pound, to me, is one of the best pro boxers. All around where he
definitely pound for pound, one of the best boxers, but we're gonna have to see what he can do at 47. Listen, I want to thank you for calling in. We got to get to some other calls. We give everybody 1 round per call. We're gonna go out to the Dominican Republic, my hometown. Nelson, what's up? My home country.
Hi, man, bro. How's it going?
What's up, brother?
Well, that fight between Thurman and Errol Spence Crawford ain't gonna happen soon. I think Thurman's gonna have a tune of fight first. Then he's gonna fight Porter on a rematch. I think is a safe fight for him. He can make a good money, and maybe then he could fight. I think Crawford, because for me, I think it's safer for him to take Crawford than Errol Spence. I think Spence will beat him easy. And I think that's what happened. He's not fighting Errol Spence or Crawford anytime soon.
Well, all right, Nelson. Thanks for calling in.
Hello.
Oh, hold on. I'm coming back to you. What's up?
Yeah. One other thing. I wanted to do whole program about the Rigon Dog Lomachenko fight as soon as you're getting closer. I would like you to make a showdown of a program only for them because it's gonna be a hell of a fight. Everybody's waiting for that fight, and we're willing to call and to talk about that, man.
All right, brother. We'll definitely head on over to our YouTube channel because we went down to Rigondeaux's camp and we did a bunch of videos with him. Got some great content and interviews. So head on over to the YouTube.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We're going out to Las Vegas. 702-624, first time caller.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, making his professional debut.
Hello?
Go ahead, brother. That was the first time caller intro. Just say your name, where you're calling from.
Hey, man, it's Young Lion from Sin City, baby. Appreciate it, man. Hey, first of all, I want to just say I love y'all program. I love the fact that y'all are friendly. And, you know, like they said earlier, man, you guys be dropping gems, man. You guys make it to where if somebody's never seen the sport of boxing, you guys make it to where they know the game. And personally, I think that people are sleeping on Thurman, and it's been happening his entire career. He's not getting the recognition, man. This is like one of our top fighters in the fucking nation. Sorry for my language. But we should stand behind our fighters here in USA. You know, you got a lot of people overseas trying to come take the throne from us. And, you know, we started this. You know what I mean? So I salute Keith Thurman. I know he's a little unorthodox at times, but the dude is smart. You know what I mean? And for people saying that he's ducking Errol Spence, I don't think that's the case. He's injured. He does treatment completely different from what other boxers do. And I think he's taking his time. He's letting things marinate. He needs to see where he can take his career. You know what I mean? He needs to see, like you said it earlier. You said a lot of people that Thurman fight are going to be their come-ups. You know, Thurman is a top name. I don't think Errol Spence is quite there just yet.
You know what I mean? When Thurman went out and snatched the crown from Garcia, he's been ghost ever since. You know what I mean? So I think Errol Spence has to do something to cement his legacy if he wants to be, if he wants people to I guess, give him what it is he wants. You know what I mean? Because it was Thurman who went out and took on Porter. It was Thurman who went out and got Garcia. You know what I mean? So personally, in my opinion, he was, you know what I mean? He was that sweeping giant. He was Errol Spence before Errol Spence. He was that person nobody really wanted to fight because they knew he was going to be a tough fight. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know why people are like just bashing this dude like he's not, you know, one of our top welterweights right now. You know what I'm saying? Because the dude can fight, man. And I've always been a fan of his, much like Andre Ward. These fighters do it for the passion, do it for the love. They're not out here to just try to, you know, they're actually doing it because they love it. You know what I mean? They're not a flash in the pants. You know what I mean?
90 seconds.
Unfortunately, you know, it just goes to show if you don't take this game serious, man, it can change. You know, just one fight can change the whole thing. Garcia, you know what I mean? He fought Thurman. I haven't heard about Garcia since, so I don't know what's going on with him. But
he's on a
Thurman's
layoff.
the dude right now in that weight division. Right, Thurman's the man right now in that division, and you know, ahead of, you know, Mayweather was up
60 seconds
there, and I would put Thurman number 3. You know what I'm saying? And the first 2 retired. So to me, Thurman has got to be top 3, top 5 right now. You know what I mean? Heavyweight, it's still a little tough to decide. But you know, Crawford or Spence, they're gonna have to go get that belt, like you said earlier.
Hey, brother,
Thurman
let me
wants
just
that
confirm
belt.
that name.
So
You
he
said
wants somebody else.
Let me just confirm your name because we give our
What's
callers your name again because I want to make sure I got it right.
Oh, my bad. My name is Young Lion. I'm from Detroit originally, but now I reside in Las Vegas. So, yeah, man. So I've been
Yo,
out
you
here,
went
man.
from
Been out
Detroit.
here for,
All right. So I
Yes,
just want to
sir.
say we give every
You're
caller 3 minutes because, you know, one
10
round
seconds.
is 3 minutes. I do want to
Right.
say thank
Respect.
you. You know, your 3 minutes are up. I do want to thank you, obviously, for calling in. Definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel, my friend. We have a tons of interviews with Keith Thurman and, you know, others. And we actually got a new Keith Thurman 3-hour on patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice for more exclusive if you're interested. We're going to head on out to New York City. We're going to Chris in New York. What's going on?
Yo, what's good, Ness? What up, Matt?
What up, Chris?
First things first, man. I just got to say that a lot of people, the reason why Thurman's getting a lot of the, I would say, backlash is because he's not the same Keith Thurman that was saying that I got an O and I'm not afraid to let it go. You could even see when he got interviewed when Errol Spence was at the desk and it was him, Wilder, and Spence. Keith Thurman was like, I'm not as hungry as Earl right now. What kind of champion says that, man? Deontay Wilder came off a hand injury and a torn bicep and came back and fought an undefeated Gerald Washington. My thing is this. Everybody on here is big on Thurman praise. I like Thurman. He's never ducked anybody. He said he's going to fight these guys, so I got nothing against him. But my thing is this. I like Thurman. I like Spence. I feel like Crawford is going to run that division, man. I have one question for you guys. Give me one fighter in the past 10, we could even make it 15 years, that defeated 2 Olympic gold medalists. And even the past few years also, who has unified all division, literally had all the belts. Terence Crawford had every single belt, even the IBO and the Ring magazine. He had unified the whole division. There was no other person that could defeat him. Garcia unified at 140, but he only had, I think, 2 or 3 of the major titles. He was missing one of the other organizations.
Yo, homie,
So when
140,
up,
140 ain't 147, man. Don't get it twisted.
it doesn't have to be 147. Crawford's moving up when he's calling out champions. He wanted to fight Thurman. He said, I'll fight Thurman first.
So why he ain't send
So
no
he's gonna
contract?
go and he's going to fight.
Why he ain't send no contract?
Come on, send it. I'm pretty sure he's going to send
Crawford or Thurman a contract, Spence a contract. He's about to fight Jeff Horn for the WBO.
Doggy. First of all, he been posted on social media. He was going to take over 47. Then he been vacated one title. Then he been vacated the other titles. I mean, when is he actually going to fight? It seems to me like he's waiting for Bob.
He's fighting Jeff Horn right after Jeff Horn fights his mandatory.
You mean the fight that isn't signed, the fight that you're assuming is gonna happen. So he's not fighting Keith. Wait. So he's not setting Keith a contract the way he said in the ring. Oh, I want Keith Thurman, but he ain't setting Keith a contract because he got to fight with Jeff Horn that isn't signed yet. Come on, man. Look how you sound right now.
Crawford called out Thurman on multiple occasions.
So why is he sitting around? Why is he sitting? So why is he sitting around waiting for Jeff Horn to beat or lose to Gary Cochran? Come on, man. You got to be smarter than that.
He's number one ranked in the WBO. He's the number one ranked in the WBO right now. That's why.
All right. So he don't really want that sauce with Thurman then. Because why are you worried about your ranking if the guy you calling out got 2 belts?
The whole division.
Why are you worried about ranking if the guy you calling out has 2 belts?
Thurman already said he's coming off his injury. He's taking a tune-up fight, and he has to fight his mandatory, which is Sean Porter right after that.
Yo, just admit it, Chris. You smarter than that. It was a fucking what's that shit? The little boy that cried wolf, Matt, or a goose tail, whatever it is. But that shit wasn't real. That ain't no real call out.
I'm telling you.
So if it's real,
number 2 pound right after Andre Ward retired, and now he's number 1. There's nobody. Only person who can beat Crawford at 147 right now probably is Spence, and I think Crawford will outbox Thurman easily. I'm gonna go on and say it. We can come back to this call, and you had me here first saying that Crawford would outbox Thurman easily.
Chris, man, you know your 3 minutes is up, but I'm gonna say I want some of the shit you smoking. Right? That's all. That New York diesel is that New York sour D is for real. Chris, thanks for calling in. I just want everybody to know that's 2016, right? That was 2016 caller of the year, 646 Chris. Look, we were talking about Donald. There he is. Donald in Richmond. Talk to us.
What's up, man? You know, I ain't been on here in a minute. But I kind of heard a little bit earlier because I was at work and I had to jump off and I jumped back on. But so I kind of got an idea of what's going on. What I think is well, the thing that I miss about Thurman is I miss the hungry Thurman. I miss the Thurman who fought Robert Guerrero. I miss the Thurman who fought Diego Chavez. I miss that Thurman. I want that Thurman back. If that Thurman was here right now, I wouldn't have any kind of doubt. I would be like, oh, he'll fucking beat Spence and it'll be Crawford. But because that hungry Thurman is not here, I have a little bit of doubt, but I still like Thurman. You know, I'm not going to say he will lose. You know what I'm saying? It's still going to be a fight. But, yeah, that hungry Thurman is not there no more. You know what I mean? And as far as, I mean, the call-outs from Crawford and stuff like that, I mean, like you said, if it ain't been no contract sent, I mean, shit, what's a call-out without a contract or offer on a fight? You know, what does that mean? You know what I'm saying? So we just got to wait and see what's going to happen. But I think that if Crawford gets in the mix and he beats Horn and he gets that belt, I mean, I could see the top 3 welterweights being Thurman and Spence and Crawford, and you know, whoever's going to be the last man standing out of that 3, because I don't see Porter beating Thurman again, because Porter, he just never changes nothing with he's just too sloppy. I mean, he would really have to change something significantly to be able to beat Thurman, to put himself into the mix of that. And you know, then when Thurman and Spence happened, you know, from there, I mean, the only thing I give credit for Terence Crawford for is for him coming into the 147 division. And so far from what I've seen, from what he said, I mean, it sounds like he's not scared to fight Thurman, and it sounds like he's not scared to fight Spence. I like that about him. So, you know, get in the ring and see what happens and see who's the last man standing after, you know, the three top guys. You know what I mean?
I mean, Donald, thanks for calling in. Matt, man, help me understand something here, man. How is it that Crawford is everything that the public says he is, yet Errol just signed to fight Lamont?
Sorry, what do you mean by that? I mean,
What I mean by is Crawford has no fight.
Yes.
He's announced his arrival at the 147-pound division via Instagram months ago. He's vacated all his titles, and Errol Spence and Lamont just got finalized. Why was there no offer for that title shot? Why was there no offer, or better yet, why were there no quotes in the media of other journalists asking Crawford, hey, so you called out Keith Thurman. Are you going to have your promoter pursue that fight? Where's the follow-up quotes to this quote-unquote call-out?
I feel like you know the answer to this question.
No, I don't really. I try not to read other people's shit.
Put on your promoter hat for a second. And if you're Bob Arum and you have Crawford and everyone else is basically outside of your stable, except for one champion, and Crawford's your guy, you're going to make sure Crawford gets that belt first so he has some sort of leverage in negotiations. Because right now he has none, really.
So you're saying that right now, regardless of Crawford's call out, his promoter is positioning.
100%. I mean, again, there's on patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice, we did have an interview with Bob Arum that's on there. And I'm pretty sure Bob Arum said next for Crawford, it's Jeff Horn. And you know, I'm not going to believe a promoter every time, but for argument's sake, let's believe him this time. If that's the plan, that makes sense. If I'm Bob Arum, if I'm Terence Crawford, if I'm Jeff Horn, that all makes sense for all those parties involved. Have that fight, and the winner of Crawford Horn goes on to have a unification. That makes the most sense. And that's the top rank, you know, tactic. That's nothing new. That's their playbook.
Yes, it is. Let's go out to the UK. Alexander Bully, talk to me.
Yo, what's going on, people, man? First of all, that quick clip from Floyd jabbing that bag, that jab was still fuego, man. If he come back pretty much 160 and below, he dominates. But yeah, just to go back to what Chris said about name an Olympic gold medalist that, I mean, anyone that's beaten 2 Olympic gold medalists. I mean, the last time I checked, Floyd won the bronze and Roy Jones Jr. won the silver, and they're probably the 2 greatest fighters of our generation. So I'm not sure that holds too much validity. And when people say that Thurman is ducking Spence, I disagree. I think, like, literally the Mayweather model was kind of changed boxing in the terms of all these fights that start marinating. It kind of builds hype for the fight. Like, so when Mayweather didn't fight Pacquiao for 6-7 years, every time he fought someone else, they were always selling out, high rated. When he fought Andre Berto for 32 million, that was because of the hype of the 6-fight deal he got, which was because of Pacquiao fighting people like the Ghost Guerrero and Victor Ortiz. It was because of the big fight in future of Pacquiao that everyone wanted to watch. And I think AJ's kind of going the same way, and so is Thurman, where they're knowing it's high risk and high reward, and they're looking at the high risk, high reward fights, and they're putting them way back down. So all the people that they fight, like a Carlos Takam or whoever else, you can really sell out big arenas because they know the champion is coming down the road. So I don't think Thurman's scared of fighting Spence, but I do think he realizes that there's a blueprint that's been set, and if he follows it, he can make a lot of money. And you can't argue with that from a business perspective, in my opinion, still.
Man, you lucky we're on the same side of the argument, or I would have to call you a Thurman protector as well as a Joshua protector, because it sounds like the same route you want for Joshua, you want for Thurman. Just saying.
Listen, if the Deontay Wilder should wait and learn how to box before he can fight AJ. Like, he should be the one waiting.
Yo, I be triggering the shit out of Bully.
Yo, but he's the funniest shit sometimes, man. Bully is definitely the captain of the AJ protectors.
You need to actually go away from the beginner's class and actually learn how to box properly before AJ knock him all the way out in Wembley 90,000. I'll be there though.
Yo, but Alexander, wouldn't you rather your guy AJ the Monster get Deontay now rather than Deontay actually learn how to box the way you say?
Deontay Wilder, 1, is never going to learn how to box properly. And 2, I'm ready for it to come over here. But like, I was just dropping some gems. I don't know how you switched it onto the AJ Deontay. That's another show. I was talking about the Mayweather model and how fighters are following it because it's a blueprint that's been set.
Yeah, Joshua's following it.
And so is Thurman. What's wrong with that? So is Thurman.
I don't think Thurman's following any model because Thurman fought 2 back-to-back top fucking 4 welterweights. 2 back-to-back.
But he got nervous when it came to talking about Spence. Ain't nothing wrong with that. He ain't scared of him.
Nervous? I don't believe in nervous, man. Did you watch? You're a patron. Did you watch the 3-hour interview we did with Thurman?
Not yet.
Oh man, you're wasting time, buddy.
Come on, Alexander. Come on.
I got it. I'm gonna catch it.
Oh
my! When it was face to face, he was nervous. When they were doing the interview right next to each other, there was no eye contact. Head was down. And when it comes to Deontay Wilder, look, we'll see next year, man. It's gonna be his head is gonna go out of the ceiling, man. It's a wrap for him.
Sure, buddy. Hey, Alexander, thanks for calling in. Listen, Matt, final thoughts time. What do you got for him?
Final thoughts. Before I say anything about this actual topic, I noticed we had a caller be in the queue and he left, and he actually hit me up on Twitter. Brad from Bakersfield. If you're a longtime listener of the show, you know Brad from Bakersfield. I hope he does call back in again. I hope he does come back to the show. Once you're TBV fam, you're always TBV fam. So just want to say, thoughts are with you, Brad.
Press 1.
He did press 1 for a time, but he left. He had to drop off. He dropped out completely. Again, he was a caller for a period of time, but he left. I just hope that he does call back in again. TBV again. Like I said, once you're TBV fam, you're always TBV fam. But again, Keith Thurman, Errol Spence, Terence Crawford, none of this is happening until 2019, and unfortunately, this is just the business of the sport. Even though those are all great fights, even if they happen tomorrow, obviously, if Keith Thurman was healthy, if it happened tomorrow, they would all be great fights. And I think we would all be completely satisfied as hardcore fans because everyone listening to the show is a hardcore fan. So that's not the issue. The issue is about business. The issue is about setting it up. And this has always been a thing within boxing that because this sport isn't really a seasonal sport, we don't have a 16-game season with playoffs and championship. We don't have an 82-game season. We don't have a 164-game season, playoffs, and a Super Bowl or World Series. We don't have that. So this is our way of having that, of setting up a championship or Super Bowl or World Series. This is our version of that in a ways. And you may think that's an excuse for it, but that just is the reality of it. But I'm Matt the Hipster Hunter. You can find me at Mixed Combat News on Twitter, Matt Hunter TBV on Instagram, and my MMA podcast, Mixed Combat Radio, is on Patreon, SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, etc. Peace.
I love that you use the word reality. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is, man. We have to live in the world that we live in. And in this world, it took Triple G and Canelo a year and a half, maybe 18 months is a year and a half, right? So let's say maybe 20 months, 18 to 20 months, It took Pacquiao, Mayweather 5 to 6 years. Big fights are hard to happen. They're not as easy to come by. But when you have a fighter that consistently puts together the big fight, why second guess him? Why shun that fighter away? So many of our fighters here in America, the Charlos, Wilder, many of them being vocal, asking the boxing public and fans to, embrace their own, and instead of doing that, you guys really divide. I just don't see it. As Keith Thurman would say, come on, baby. It's me. It's one time. I ain't going to finish the rest because you got to check that interview out on patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. But I seen someone in the comments said, yo, Keith never mentions Canelo's name. That's my American Coming to America impersonation in the in the barbershop. Oh, I think it was right? Isn't it? The Jewish guys like where's the soup? Where's remember that? Whatever.
Yeah, I remember that.
So the point is, yeah, when fighters are interviewing with Ness and Matt, they talk about all those things that you think they never want to talk about. That's what they do. They open up with us. So if you want to hear him talk about Canelo and how that fight can happen, because Ness and Matt asked every which scenario in which way that could happen, which includes signing a similar contract to.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, I know you did. I know. I mean, we got gems, bro, because we're rock stars. We're fucking rock stars. We do what we do because we do it well. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're trying to get to this 60K. It looks like we're about 200 and some change away. So let's have a 60K birthday. And tell your friend to subscribe so we could get there. And if you're really a fanatic of the show, just create like 7 more YouTube accounts and fucking get us there. That's right.
If we get to 60K tonight, we will drop the Bob Arum interview to the public. How about that, Ness?
I don't think the public is ready for the Bob Arum. Hearing Bob Arum say that Lomachenko and Rigondeaux doesn't need to be promoted, I don't think they're ready to hear that. I don't think they're ready to hear that in the entire 2018, he does not plan to put Terence Crawford in with any Al Heyman welterweights. I don't think you guys are ready to hear that. But if you are, I mean, get us to 60K, and I guess Matt will put it out there, Matt loves you guys. He's always working. Jesus. He loves you guys. But, I mean, then again, you guys love him. Fucking sent him to Florida and shit. Anyway, I'm your host, Nestor Gibbs. Find me on Instagram and Twitter at NesGTO.
Peace.
Peace.